Hello everybody and welcome to the latest Inside Rovers Away Days preview. Joining me to look ahead to Tuesday night's game against Lincoln City, BBC Radio Sheffield commentator Tom Biltcliffe and Lincoln City communications manager Luke Thornhill. Tom, a big evening this for Rovers. They've not been able to build on that victory at Sunderland in the past couple of games against Ipswich and Portsmouth. This one looks more winnable on paper, but Lincoln themselves have picked up a couple of good results recently as well.
It does look winnable. Every game in League One is winnable. But Rovers had the worst record away from home in the division and then went to the best home record in the division in Sunderland and won. After that, you would think that anything is possible, and the players have to believe that. But the expectation level perhaps has gone up a notch due to that. And Rovers just simply at Portsmouth didn't live up to those expectations. I think Gary Sheffield said it was the non-negotiables, such as just working hard and running, which went awry. And Rovers have got to put that right in the space of 72 hours and go again and try and get something. Do you know what, Robbie? If Rovers actually got 3 points from Lincoln, it's not a bad couple of away games. And they're still in there. Lose that, and then I keep saying it's perhaps another nail in the coffin. They've got to win half the remaining 14 games. It doesn't matter if it's the last 7 games of the season or the next 7 games. They've got to start winning it and doing it soon.
Was the most disappointing thing about Saturday that in that first half, Rovers could arguably have been a goal or two up at half time. They played well, they kept the ball nicely. Joe Dodu had a great chance to put them 1-0 up, but for a great block from Sean Raggett, they would have gone ahead. They just couldn't quite reach those standards again after half time.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, there was one team disappointed with 0-0 at half-time at Frank Park, and that was Rovers. And there's one team relieved to be at 0-0, and that was Portsmouth. And I thought 3-0 was a bit harsh on Rovers. 4-0 was something completely different, but they just did not do anything. And I've seen the stats for the expected goals, and Portsmouth were all over them like a rash. And there was no way, looking back at it, there's no way Portsmouth could have been that bad again after the break. But Rovers just seemed to lack organisation. And in the end, after about 60 minutes, the legs and the heads just went. Rovers, unfortunately, wants to go a goal down. I think they've won 2 points all season from losing positions. You know, and Gary McSheffrey is acutely aware of that. Spoke to Dan Gardner after the game. And it seemed when he tired, no fault of his own, he's been out injured quite a long time. When he tired, the whole side seemed to kind of go within themselves, and then it was not a question of whether Rovers lost, it was a case of by how many.
Luke, in terms of Lincoln, as I said, a couple of decent results recently, a point on the board against Wycombe on Saturday, having led in that game. They're sort of one of the pack of sides, I suppose, that Rovers are chasing really just outside the relegation zone, but in a season of transition. How do you sort of assess things so far?
Yeah, obviously getting to the playoff final last year was a great achievement for City. This year, a bit of a slower start, had a lot of injuries certainly at the start of the season, which is one of the reasons why we're in that kind of chasing pack just above the playoff, with the relegation spots. I think 5 points is the difference now. Really picked up results. January was key for us. Got some good players on loan, got our targets, got our business done nice and early. And that's really why we've kind of picked up and now hopefully got that 5-6 point difference and looking to put a bit more gap between us and like the Doncaster in that bottom 4.
Of course, one of the main bits of business done in January, John Marquis coming in. He's already done what John Marquis does and got himself 3 goals early on in a Lincoln shirt. What's his impact been like, not only in terms of the goals he scored, but in terms of the standards that he sets leading the line as well?
Yes, so John is a player that all Donny fans will be very familiar with. We all know how great he was starting with that League Two promotion season and just kept it going. He's there. The way Lincoln play, we really good at creating chances. We just struggle in finishing it off. So we need someone that can make those runs into 6-yard box, and that's exactly what John brought to the team. So you see now with all his goals so far, there've been those runs in the 6-yard box, close range finishes, and he'll do that all day long. In terms of what he brings to the rest of the team, his experienced player now is 29 years old. When he first joined Doncaster, he was 23, 24, and he's now got that experience. He's got experience for promotions, experience of playoff campaigns, being those big games, and Lincoln have got a young squad and is really there bringing experience to those as well, and just helping them through those key moments in games where if you concede before Christmas, heads may have gone down in the same way that you've seen a lot this season as well. But he's there, keeping it going and really brings experience to bear in the squad.
Tom, if Joseph Oluwu and Ollie Younger thought they had a difficult afternoon against Walker and Hurst on Saturday, they're in for another tough night at the LNER Stadium on Tuesday with Marquis, aren't they? He's the sort of player who, even if he's not getting a goal, he will work his socks off, he'll back in, he'll have his arm across you, and you cannot afford to have a second lapse in concentration.
No, I think it'll be another one like they've had over the last couple of weeks against some top strikers in this division. Smith and Grigg, crikey. They got absolutely... the less said about that, the better against Rotherham. He's a master of the dark arts, isn't he, Marquis? And to be honest, if you do let him in around your penalty spot, you're in trouble. And if Lincoln City have got a winger to put it on the money for him, then Rovers are in trouble. So I think if he'll look to get in behind, if Rovers actually try and keep solid and keep him at bay, I don't think he's that as effectual. The kind of deeper he drops, that's fine. As far as Rovers are concerned, it's as and when they get turned around and balls are put in the box. As we saw at the weekend, what was it? 3 out of 4 goals were from right wing crosses. You can't afford to do that against any team. Never mind someone who will be sniffing in around like Marquis will be.
Luke, how important have the fans been at the LNER Stadium this season? Of course, the season without them last year, it's the stadium, isn't it, which relies a lot on the atmosphere generated, and when you've got a packed out stadium, which I imagine it will be close to capacity on Tuesday, it can have a big effect. Yeah,
we're looking at a crowd of up to 9,000 potentially on Tuesday night, of which the vast majority will be home fans. The 617 squadron, they get the ground going, they get the air raid siren before corners. I'm sure travelling fans will be familiar with that, but certainly in these past 2 games, the fans have made such a difference. Look to Morecambe, home to Morecambe last Tuesday, 1-2-1. They got a goal back to bring it back to 2-1 from 2-0. And you sense that nervousness, but the fans got behind the lads that helped them across. Again, on Saturday, Wycombe, they, what Wycombe are like, direct, physical, go all day long. And again, the fans were really key in that. So it's hopefully going to be a great atmosphere on Tuesday night. Hope to see quite a few Donny fans come across, enjoy the atmosphere as well. But yeah, it'll be a good crowd and a good atmosphere as well.
Tom, that result at Sunderland and the sort of scenario that came with it, with the atmosphere, the Defoe homecoming, and although it won't be a 38,000 crowd on Tuesday night, Rovers need to draw on that experience, don't they? And the way they went about quietening down that Sunderland crowd and turning the frustration onto their host could be an important factor on Tuesday as well.
They've got to do what they did at Portsmouth, Robbie, which for the first half was executed to perfection, but they've just got to do that for a full 90 minutes. They had the chance, Dodo, as you say, hitting the player on the line, and you just thought, well, if they do that in the second half, there's no way we're going home with anything less than a point here. So I can't think of a bad first half Rovers have had on the road since Gary McSheffrey took charge. They were by far the better at MK Dons, Sunderland, Cambridge. The list goes on and on. But it's just having that little bit of belief, really, to try and stick at it as if they do go a goal down.
Because that's massive, isn't it? Getting that first goal. Clearly, that once it goes against Rovers, the tide is very hard to turn. Once they get that first goal, they are actually very good at being able to stay solid. And it's as if that once you've got something to hold on to and protect, that's when Rovers come out of their shell a little bit.
Yeah, completely agree. I get a little bit. I don't think Gary knows who his front three are going to be on Tuesday. I got that sense coming away from Fratton Park. He said strikers weren't good enough. The substitutions are made up front, not good enough. You're thinking, well, you've got plenty of striking options now in the building, but of the new signings that have come in, only Rio Griffiths has got a goal. I think Agard desperately needs either a goal and or game time. He was brought in for his experience. We've scarcely seen him. Likewise, Clayton, who's not yet match ready. And it's still a young side that's bouncing from Saturday to Tuesday and they're taking some wallopings along the way, and it's been pretty ugly watching. And it doesn't get any easier. You know, they're going to have to use these next two games. If you get, I don't know, 6 points seems fanciful, but if you did get that in two local derby games, it could change the season around. Lose them, and unfortunately, the writing's on the wall.
Because Rovers have been fortunate in these last couple of games when they haven't picked up results, that the teams above haven't really built on the gap too much. However, if you don't pick up any points on Tuesday, the team you're playing against are going to bridge that gap. So there is that added pressure there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Rovers won't, if they do go down, it won't be because they've been beaten 5-0 by the likes of Rotherham or lost 3-0 at home to Sunderland, etc., etc. It'll be because they've not taken points from the teams around them. They've not beaten some of the teams in the bottom six in this division. And if that happens, that's why you're bottom of the pile. To be honest, fair play to Gillingham. They've got Neil Harris in. He's taken Ben Thompson from Millwall, who will know John Marquis, the pair of them. And they're showing a bit of spirit. It's unfortunately Rovers and Crewe who are the ones at the moment who are scrapping it out for the wooden spoon, and they're not making a good fist of it. They just need something to go their way. Again, with that, I refer back to the Doru chance. I don't know if it hit the man or the post, but it just seems like sometimes they don't get the bounce of the ball. But the more shots you have, the luckier you'll get, I suppose.
Luke, as we mentioned, a big crowd expected. I understand the fan village at the LNER Stadium will be open to both sets of supporters as well.
Yeah, it's open from 5 o'clock. To come down, get some nice food options. Curry Jacks, I recommend it. You'll be walking through it as well, Robbie. Get your pre-match meal, bit of music, mingle and fine. All fans welcome. Hope for a good atmosphere on the night for everyone who comes down to the match.
Of course, a foot in both camps for you as well. How do you see this one going? Of course, I imagine with your Lincoln hatter.
Well, I mean, for Lincoln, we've had a good couple of results. Our performances since before Christmas have been good. So for us, we know it's about coming and keep not giving you any hope. So it's confidence that seems to be Rovers' problem at the moment. Is actually get results like at Sunderland. Sunderland's an amazing place to go and win a game of football, isn't it? You look at that, I think Donny are going to kick on, and then obviously you go and get results like on Saturday. So we know from a Lincoln viewpoint, we just need to not give you a sniff. If Donny get an early goal or an early chance, feeling gets him out of the game, it might be tougher for us. So it's really about going and getting a good start and putting you on the back foot, and hopefully, from my viewpoint, a home win. But maybe you might sneak up and finish fifth from bottom.
Tom, what about you? Where do you see this one being won and lost on Tuesday?
Crikey, no idea. It's which Rovers turns up. Absolutely no idea. I remember, the home game against Lincoln City was memorably forgetful, 0-0. I can't remember anything that happened, so I'll stick with that. The game will start 0-0. Whether it finishes that way, who knows?